Welcome to West Side Wise, presented to you by Quest and connected to you by AT&T, where we are giving you the news that you can use with the information that you cannot refuse. My name is Ebony Ford, and let's get on into it. I am your host today, and today we have another good one for you, as we always do. Y'all know we always give you the good news. We hit you with everything that you need, resources, things that we provide to the community, and today will be no different. We have the brand new commissioner, and congratulations, by the way, of City of Atlanta Parks and Recreation, Mr. Justin Cutler, in the house today. Justin, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Ebony?
I'm good. Let me do our, that's the rim shot. My bad. Applause. There we go. Thank you again, Justin, for being here. I really appreciate it. And again, congratulations. How long have you been at your new post?
Yeah, thank you. I've been here about 2.5 months, and It's been quite the fire hose thus far, but a lot to learn, and trying to meet as many community members as I can and our neighbors, and get to events, visit parks, and our great natural areas as well.
Absolutely. So I am very, very honored to have you in here within your first 3 months. You said 2.5 months, right?
Yeah, 2.5 months.
I got you in here. Okay, I am honored.
You're doing a great job, Ebony.
Appreciate you, and so are you. We can already tell that. And we'll get into the conversations about some of your accomplishments just a little bit later. First of all, just give us a little bit of background, how you got to be in this post, and a little bit, background before that.
Yeah, well, honestly, I came into Parks and Recreation, one of the few people that went into Parks and Recreation, got a degree in Recreation Administration and Leisure Studies.
Wow.
From Washington State University. It's a long way from here, but grew up in the Pacific Northwest, and then worked in Oregon and Colorado and Seattle, most recently as the Director of Recreation Services. And then the mayor and the Chief Operating Officer, Ms. Gordon, reached out through LinkedIn, and we were able to connect. And just the vision that the mayor has for Atlanta is really inspiring. I know it's inspiring to me personally as a public servant and somebody who cares a lot about our neighbors and about community, and how can Parks and Recreation intervene and help us all live happier, healthy lives. Mm-hmm. And so it was his vision of providing and moving Atlanta forward that really brought me to Atlanta, and I'm here today to really support our neighbors and uplift community and uplift our vision of Parks and Recreation services.
Absolutely, and I think I'm one of many, unfortunately, who don't really understand Parks and Recreation. Like, you think it's literally just the parks. I mean, to be fair, it is in the name, but I know that you guys do so much more and have so many more resources in that you offer the residents of the city of Atlanta. So I know you guys just got accreditation achieved?
Yes. We went through a process. The National Recreation Parks Association has over 150 different criteria that we are required to meet as part of the accreditation process. And this ranges from kind of formational documents to master plan documents that outline how we approach acquisition and how we develop our parks and recreation system. It also includes documents around program quality and quality improvement, staffing, certification for our own staff. So there's a lot that goes into the accreditation process, and I'm so very proud of our team. And this is something that started before I arrived 2.5 months ago, but we were able to get it over the finish line. We had a meeting at the beginning of September, and then recently at the National Recreation and Parks Association Conference in Phoenix, they were able to announce that we were fully accredited. And so this is an effort that has spanned multiple years, and the team worked throughout the pandemic to make sure that we are meeting the best practices identified by the National Recreation and Parks Association. So this is something that we as a community can be proud of, that we have an industry-leading Parks and Recreation agency, and only 1% of Parks and Recreation agencies in the country are accredited. So, wow. Again, this is what makes Atlanta the best place in America to be right now, and we're just excited to be here, right?
It's official at this point, right? 150 different criteria.
Yes.
That's amazing. 1%.
1%.
And
yes.
You got it.
And we are part of that 1%.
Hey. That's awesome. That is awesome. And I know that you guys acquired the Chattahoochee Brick Company. Now, I tried to do a little bit of research on this, but I'm definitely going to need some help with it. The Chattahoochee Brick Company is a former forced convict labor facility. Mostly African-American men who endured inhumane working conditions that often led to, unfortunately, death. Okay, so the green space will become the first park in the City of Atlanta inventory to have direct access to the Chattahoochee. And that was also covered by the news as well. When you say direct access to the Chattahoochee, can you explain that a little bit better for me?
Yeah, so the Chattahoochee Brick property is directly on the banks of the Chattahoochee River, and this is part of the mayor's vision to bring Atlanta to the river, right? And how are we building opportunity for people to access such an amazing natural resource amenity that is in their backyard and bring it to our front yard? Let's celebrate the fact that we have this river, that we have access. And this is part of a larger vision around the Chattahoochee River Lens, which connects over 100 miles of waterway from the dam at Lake Lanier all the way down to, I think it's Riverbend State Park. And this will be a spot along that river that you can take out or put in your kayak or canoe or other watercraft and really, use a bathroom, have an opportunity to engage in nature trails and be a part of the park space. And I think also when we think about Chattahoochee Brick, it needs to be a place of healing and renewal.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
I think that's the great thing about parks and recreation services, and parks in particular. Being outside, being in nature, has a calming effect, right? It helps reduce different ailments of urban living. I think also that given the site's history, there needs to be some healing and opportunity for reflection and also movement forward and interpretation of what happened, what occurred, who paid and who benefited, and how do we understand what occurred there, and how do we bring healing to people that were enslaved at that site, but also how do we bring healing to our community? Yeah,
I was definitely going to say with that type of history, the other side of it needs to match it,
Yes.
Needs to be as profound. And so you said something that reminded me of the State of the City address that our mayor had a little earlier this year, when he said one of his goals was to bring the river to the city, not verbatim, but make that connection. And I'm sitting there, and even everybody in the audience is like, what does that mean? How's he going to do that? So it's kind of like, it's what you're saying.
This is
how they're going to do it.
This is the manifestation of that vision, right? The mayor said in his State of the Union that we were going to bring the city to the river, and this is the mayor delivering on that promise and us together making that happen.
Wow, it takes some kind of mind to come up with that. And,
well, it's the community. The Candida Fund, the Conservation Fund, many other partners. I don't want to start listing them all because I know I'll forget somebody. But,
I know what you mean.
I do know that the Conservation Fund and the Candida Fund really made a difference in being able to acquire this property, and it really is a team effort, right?
Absolutely,
it's not how do we fight over a piece of the pie, it's how do we make the pie bigger for everybody.
Absolutely.
And how do we move Atlanta forward together.
Absolutely. And as I was saying earlier, a lot of people do think that parks are just literally, the parks, which are awesome, the green space and what it provides for a community, especially urban as Atlanta is, and especially urban areas like where we're at right now in Vine City, in English Avenue. But the parks actually play a big role in mental health wellness, which is more important now than it ever has been. And again, especially in a neighborhood like this. Tell us a little bit about how the Department of Parks and Recreation is meeting that need.
Yeah, I think oftentimes parks we found throughout the pandemic that we couldn't meet indoors, right? Oh. We needed to be physically distanced. We needed to experience fresh air. And our parks and our recreation facilities were those spaces where people could go and find that refuge. I know myself being cooped up in a house with 2 kids, 8 and 12, and a wife drove me crazy sometimes. And the park was my place of refuge, needing to get out, finding nature, seeing a tree and walking by a fountain. Right, hearing that water sound is really helpful, and many of our parks have water features in them, and some do not. Right, but being able to be in nature has a calming effect. We know that from research that has been done by the University of Washington and many other institutions, highlighting the benefits of parks and recreation as well as nature. And so, making sure that we have high quality nature spaces, healthy trees, healthy grass, healthy water. Take Cascade Springs, for instance, or Lake Charlotte, one of our newer acquisitions in the southwest part of our community. Those are both good examples of where people can access nature. They can touch a tree, they can get their hands dirty, they can see a water view or take part in a nature experience. And those are great opportunities. Absolutely.
And when you said that about the park, I was cooped up with a 4-year-old. He was in pre-K, but he actually started Hollis, a whole new school, online, completely online on... What was that? August 2020. Cooped up is the word, because I have this 5-year-old sitting here trying to keep him on a computer. So it was definitely all of our a place for all of us to go that when we needed to get away from our own homes. Who thought you'd ever need to get away from your home? But the pandemic kind of showed us that sometimes you do need to get out. So I definitely understand that. And then Cook Park is my actual local park. I live right here in Vine City, and I think you were there.
I was. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah, you were there pretty recently.
Yes, I met the Cook Alliance for the Activation of Cook Park. They have a meeting out there once a month, and so I met with Carrie and her group, and we talked about what are things that we can do as a city and as neighbors to make sure that we're bringing positive pro-social activities to Cook Park. Yeah, I love Cook Park, and it definitely has some water features with the spring, and in the summer it has the awesome splash pad for the kids. So Cook Park, that's the playground.
I mean, the playground.
It's the slide.
Have you ever went down that slide before?
I don't think I went down that slide.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I have a video of me attempting it.
And what happened?
I can show you better than I can tell you, as they say. I actually will show you afterwards. It's crazy. It's really steep. Not for the faint of heart, okay? And I will look dead in the camera and say that. If you ain't ready, don't get on that Cook Park slide, okay? All right. I'm sorry about that. Excuse me. Also, you were talking about the basketball. So Midnight Basketball Season 3 is underway. Is that correct?
It is underway. And this year we're doing something different this season. we've heard from all across Atlanta that people want to engage in midnight basketball. And so we are doing a traveling season. This year we're going to 12 different sites across the city of Atlanta. So we'll be coming to a community center near you. And I highly encourage everyone to come out to midnight basketball. It's not just for the young men that are playing basketball. It's for the community. And I think that's what sets aside midnight basketball, sets us aside and kind of puts us on a higher ground there, in a sense that it is for community and by community, right? It's a place where you can come and grab a meal. You can get access to services. It's an opportunity. We have ice cream there, which is great.
Oh,
I know.
That's
who
all
doesn't
I
like
need.
getting some cream or some type of frozen treat?
Yes.
And it's also a great way to support the young men playing basketball and show them that we are proud of them and we're behind you.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what makes Atlanta so special.
I agree. And it's not actually at midnight, is it?
No. It's usually between 8 and 8:30 is when we typically start.
And it
sometimes
was
we may start earlier.
Got you. And what center was it at? Because it was stationary.
Yeah, so it was at C.T. Martin.
C.T. Martin, yep, I did
and
see
Roselle Fan last season,
Okay.
and now we're traveling to 12 different sites.
That is awesome. Makes it even more accessible,
Yeah.
you know? And also the Best of 16 tour. Tell me a little bit about that in regards
Yeah,
to
so that's the whole model, right?
Okay,
Is we're taking
gotcha.
the 16 teams and they're touring around the city.
Tour, yes. Okay, perfect. I like that. And just talking about all the initiatives, I know it's a lot, but you do a lot. You're
The team
part of
does
the
an
city, does a
amazing
lot.
job.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
we have over 300 committed staff, parks and recreation professionals that show up every day. They showed up through the pandemic to deliver after school care, to deliver meals, to make sure people weren't going hungry during the pandemic. They kept our parks looking green, right, and picking up the trash, and so that people in our community could enjoy the parks. And we have a tremendous amount of men and women that show up every day to do the right thing and get it done. And we couldn't be more proud of the work they do.
Oh my gosh, that 300 staff just for
over
parks
300.
and
I'm lowballing that number because I don't want to say more than it is, but I know that at least 300. And tomorrow we have the great honor. We're going to have a park worker picnic. And many of our partners are actually going to come out and just celebrate the work of our men and women on our parks team to say thank you.
Absolutely.
Because oftentimes we go to the parks and sometimes we miss the trash can, right?
Yes,
we're playing
and that's
basketball
the part that everybody
and you go
complains
up
about.
right for a dunk or a layup, or maybe you try the 3-point shot on your Coke can and you miss, right?
Yeah.
So the park workers are out there every day making sure our parks are clean and picked up, and we want to just say thank you to them for the amazing work they do.
Absolutely. I agree. That's a very, very good idea, and they deserve it. And another initiative, which I think is really cool, it's like a partnership with Atlanta Police Department. Is that correct?
Yes.
Launched some various park engagements, one being popsicles in the park. So that is, again, with APD, correct?
Yeah, so we're working hand in hand with APD. One of the things that we know is that when people are in parks and participating in pro-social activities, right? They're playing basketball, they're throwing a football, maybe a frisbee, soccer ball, whatever people enjoy doing, right? Having fun in a park.
Absolutely.
We want people to have fun in a park.
Yes.
And that tends to root out the antisocial activity, drug use, urban camping, those types of activities, right? So our job as a Parks and Recreation Department is to provide the positive opportunities for people to do these things. And so Popsicles in the Park, our Movies in the Park initiative, are two initiatives that we have underway right now to really bring in the positive activities to our parks, and working with APD and making sure that our community-oriented officers are accessible and available to answer questions about safety, both and to be present, right, to support the event and support community, but also to build relationships, because we know that it's when communities have relationships with each other, that's when people are safe.
Absolutely.
And as our commitment, at DPR, we're committed to making sure that our parks are active, safe spaces, and but it takes all of us working together,
yes,
right?
It
means we have to identify opportunities to interact as neighbors. We have to work with neighborhood groups like Quest and other organizations that want to help us bring neighbors out and just have a good time. And who doesn't love going to a park? Who doesn't love? Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, and a little secret, Ebony. So we have a dance competition at every popsicle in the park.
Really?
I lead the dance competition.
You lead it?
And,
really?
And we have fun. And there is video out there of me dancing. I don't know if we can link that.
Yes, let's do
as
that.
part of the YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's link.
But we try to have fun. And if you want to see the commissioner cut some play space, we can.
I'm very interested because you were getting ready to lay down some bars too when we did our mic check earlier.
Well, I don't know if there's video out there too, but there's video of the police chief, the mayor, and the commissioner doing the Macarena.
I'd love to see that.
I don't know where that video is, but
we're gonna
maybe
find that.
Somebody could find it.
And that dance needs to come back. It was really fun, wasn't it? Okay, sorry, I am getting way off subject here, you guys. And then movies in the park also.
Yes.
That's really fun. But I know this won't be aired probably for a little while, but that one is the last one coming up?
It's already passed.
Okay, because it's cold now.
It is.
It's officially cold.
It is freezing.
Yes, it literally is almost freezing. Okay.
I think it was freezing.
I think it was. Yeah, overnight for sure, like under 32. So that's okay. That's okay. We'll see it next season, right? Next year? Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Justin. I appreciate you. Hi, it's Ebony Ford, host of Westside Wise. Access to affordable, reliable, high-speed internet is more important than ever. That's why AT&T is furthering its efforts to help bridge the digital divide by offering new solutions that help households here in Atlanta and beyond stay connected to work, education, healthcare, and more. AT&T has worked to reduce barriers to the cost of home internet service by combining access from AT&T, which provides low-cost internet service for eligible households, with the Federal Affordable Connectivity Program benefit. Eligible households can get free home internet service. I discovered access from AT&T at a time when I had no car, no job, no money, no internet. It was the segue for me to be able to apply for benefits, look for childcare programs, look for jobs, and attend training. It literally was my foundation to be able to get back on my feet. And it all started with access from AT&T. Terms and restrictions apply. Speeds up to 100 megabits per second where available. Learn more at att.com/internet/access.